Ornella, dialing in live with Momo in the corner, as always. Yet to mention two Gabes in your corner throughout the double triple program. Yeah, so good. Appreciate you jumping on to talk through your experience in the program. And of course, we're very excited for you to start this new amazing career in tech sales.
Thank you.
So good. Would love to talk a bit about your background. You're coming from a different industry, different background experiences, different country, even just some short years ago. But would you like to just take us through high level background, what you've been doing prior to actually coming into the double triple program?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm from Canada. I moved to Sydney almost 8 years ago, and my professional background has just been in the veterinary industry. I became a registered veterinary technician about 10 years ago, and I've only been working in emergency and critical care as an ICU vet nurse. Did it in Canada, did it mostly in Australia, and I never really liked it. I probably realized a year into working in emergency that I made a big mistake, but there was so much studying and time and effort that went into it that I felt like I couldn't give up. I just had to push through, and I pushed through for 10 years. I think I just got lost in the sauce of I don't know what's out there. I don't know what else I'm capable of doing. I went to school for this. If I change careers, do I have to go back to school again and learn something completely new? And I really didn't want to do that. But my partner, also named Gabe, is in tech sales, and it kind of just helped get the gears turning to think about it. I never really felt like I could do what he does. I just don't know. I think just having a medical background, it's all I really understand. So trying to understand any other profession just went over my head. Like, I really don't understand anyone with a desk job, what they actually do. So I just never thought it would be my future. But I just got to a point where I got really sick of my job. There's zero reward, and the list goes on. And I decided to do something different. And my current job is field sales, and that kind of just fell in my lap. Like, I had a recruiter reach out to me, explain the role. It was still in the animal industry because I sell pet food. So it was a really good bridge from the vet industry into sales. And then being in that role for a year, I understood what sales is really like. And then that was a really good bridge to go into tech sales.
Yeah, I love it. It's interesting. We see a few members in the program coming from a bit of a sunk cost fallacy in terms of
Mm,
the investment in the university degrees and a career already. And there comes a point inevitably where it's like a crossroads. Got to make
yep.
the decision now or never sort of thing. But good job sticking it out for a decade. Now you've
Yeah.
come to the best industry in the world, Ornella. So
I
it's going to be a
know.
completely different experience.
I know. I can't stop talking about how this is the best industry in the world. I keep telling people this is what they should be teaching you in school, not to be a doctor or a lawyer. Like, that is not the way to go.
And you believe that? Why is
Yeah.
that?
Well, you get taught in school that you just got to find what you enjoy and find your passion and make that your job, because you'll never feel like you're working a day in your life. But I fell into that, and saving animals was my passion. And I felt like I was working every single day for 10 years. I honestly had this saying where if I died and went to hell, it would take me like 10 years to realize that I was in hell and not at work.
Well, it sounds like you had a very compelling reason to change, Ornella.
Yeah,
So we're super happy to have helped you
for
now
sure.
make the pivot into a tech sales career. And like, we're really excited to see how you go in terms of starting. So it's very exciting.
Me
Can
too.
we? I'm excited to talk through your experience in the program. How did you find actually even just learning about the tech industry, the roles and the companies that you started to interview with? And I thought it was quite remarkable just to observe your journey in terms of just the rapid learning you had week on week. I think your
Mhm.
mindset, taking on board the feedback, putting the reps in, and ultimately where you've now landed in an amazing tier one tech company. I'd love you just to talk us through even just going about that whole journey end to end.
Yeah. I'll start at day one, step one, which was just learning about tech sales. I truly didn't know anything. Like, I didn't even know what a BDR was or what that stood for. So I felt like through the program, it really allowed me to hit the ground running because the very first videos and information was just about tech sales, how it works, explaining each role and each stage and how you move up, and talking about software companies. So that right away helped me actually understand and wrap my head around this industry. And then moving from there, the LinkedIn and the resume building was super helpful. I made sure that I did all of the courses in the program and built out my LinkedIn and my resume before I even had the onboarding call with you. Like, I just wanted to have that done. I constantly had this feeling of I need a job yesterday. So it was really pushing me to move through it quickly. And I think throughout the process, I had that mindset the whole time because I wanted to get out of the current job I had really quick. So I just made sure that every day I did something that helped me move a step forward. And I know that it's really hard for everybody because you have your full-time job that you're in already, family things. So adding another thing on top of your plate, double, triple, separately on its own, plus job hunting and interview is something else on its own, was a lot. But if you just chip away at one thing at a time, it just made me continue the process. I felt super overwhelmed a lot of the time, but when I did feel that way, I had to just stop and tell myself, look how much you've progressed and learned even from yesterday. Just take it one step at a time and keep moving forward. What really helped me was making sure that I spent a day job hunting and adding to the job tracker. Like, the job tracker, I lived in that hub. I was constantly updating it just to keep tabs on everything. And as I was moving along, when I had an interview, I made sure that I had something else in the job tracker that I could target so that every time I moved along in the process of an interview, I had something else behind keeping up. And towards the end, the system got so good that I ended up having 4 interviews with 4 different companies every single week. And it just kept moving along. And if I got rejected by one, we pushed that out of the way and then another company would take over.
That's a great lesson in pipeline building just in itself, Ornella. You're going to be a great
Yeah.
tech sales rep. Pipeline
Thanks.
building. So
Thanks.
good. Talk us through, and I know we had this experience early on when you were interviewing for a big fintech company, globally recognized brand, and you were just like sort of all in. And I think there was a commentary as well about, being a bit maybe too picky at the start,
Yeah.
which is
And
fine, right?
the one and done. I wanted one and done.
You wanted one and done. Yeah. Out of the gates in a week sort of
Yeah.
situation. Relentless. Which
Yeah.
we appreciated, by the way.
Thanks. I think being picky and the one and done, like, I started with an interview with Safety Culture and an interview with Stripe. 2 massive companies, and I was ignoring any of the little guys, which honestly was probably my biggest mistake because looking back, I did not do well on those rounds of interviews with Safety Culture and Stripe. If I had done interviews with other companies prior to it, I probably would have landed those jobs. And it's just because of the inexperience with interviewing. I wasn't answering the questions well. I didn't know what to expect, so I was very stumped when I got a behavioral question. Hubspot, for example, they really prep you before each interview and tell you exactly what questions they're going to ask. But most companies don't do that. Safety Culture didn't do that. Stripe didn't do that. So I kind of was going in blind. I tried to prep as best as I could with the behavioral questions, but for Stripe, for example, there was all of them that he asked, I didn't prepare for. So I didn't have an answer. And reflecting on that was super helpful. And I think this is something that I can take on in my BDR role, but failing early on and learning from it is super beneficial. And I think failing, reflecting on those interviews, changing, and learning from it really helped me succeed in my interviews after that.
Yeah, you definitely built the reps, right? And it's an art in terms of interviewing, and
Mm,
it's not also something you just go into a casual conversation too. Like they're very much looking to understand you as a person. There's also technical elements, so to speak, especially when you get to like the mock cold calls or the
yeah.
discovery or the plans, and it's like you get into like deep interview stages too, multi-stage interviews. But I think the best thing that you did, Ornella, was like you were very engaged in the community. You attended the calls, you did the study. Fully appreciate it can be overwhelming, and we see that happen too. It's like time and energy management in the week, and being really careful and balanced at that. But for you to continue to show up and also learn from the experiences and like apply the new thing, and also like be honest with yourself in terms of like, oh, okay, well, potentially this element here could have been done a little bit better. I'm going to take that into the next interview, and you just
Yep.
build and improve week on week, which like we saw you do over the 5 to 6 weeks in the program, which is exactly what you want to do because it also sets you up for those skills as well, and actually learning a new industry. And now when you start the role, you're taking a lot of those skill sets, especially from the
Hmm.
mock calls and the preparation and how you do the outreach and the pipeline stuff and the
Yep.
planning. All of that is completely transferable. You have a bit of an inception cycle, even learning the skills itself. So it's always cool seeing that come to life.
Yep. Yep. One thing I really appreciated about this program is no one's holding your hand. Like, I don't know why I had that thought before I started the program that, it would, everyone would help you and walk you through every process and kind of just hold your hand. It is not like that at all. You really need to put in your own effort. And I appreciate that because that's what it is going to be like in a role like this. So to learn this way about the industry really sets you up for how you are going to be working in the role.
Yeah, I love it. I love to hear that from you as well, Ornella. It's a really, really critical point. Because what Karen and I realized early on in the program, like in the very early days, is like we were doing too much for members. And it's like
Yeah.
sets you up for failure. And it's like, okay, well, we're actually doing a bit of a disservice in the coaching modus operandi because it's like we see people get so uncomfortable at some stages, or like potentially they might give up for a moment of time or completely. But it's like to be successful in the tech sales career, it is really the input output thing. The thing you can control is the attitude and the effort every day. And you do that in the career and you're going to be successful. But if you can't do that in the program,
Yeah,
it could also be a little bit of a red flag, right? So really interesting. Always interesting.
exactly. And I really appreciated that.
Yeah. And it's great too because you're also a standout member, and we love people like you who come into the program that roll the sleeves up, do the work, reflect, engage with us, bounce off us, get on the calls, like get involved in the curriculum,
Mhm.
get across the community, because it's like ultimately it's going to sharpen the skill set for you. But it's also like, you've been fantastic contributing into the community too, like
Yeah.
sharing your insights, getting around people, like the positive energy and just like celebrating the community. And it's like, as you say, it can be overwhelming or there can be really tough times, but
Hmm.
we want the community to be the element of the journey that is also really uplifting too, because similar journeys and the positive energy and mindset goes a really long way, especially when you're making a pivot or it's uncomfortable at times. And again,
Yeah.
it builds the resilience and the
That's the
rest.
whole point of a community. You need to, help each other. And I'm really big on putting in what I want to get out of it. And, if I just sat back and didn't comment, didn't post, didn't do anything, that's not really fun for anybody in the community. It's not fun for you guys when you have to do a video call every week and no one's engaging. Like, it's just not fun. I would never want that to happen to me if I was in your position, or if I was in this company and I started this community and nobody was replying or posting. I don't think it's fun for anybody. So, what you want from it, you need to give in also. That's kind of how it works. You're going to get the most out of it if you also put in all of your energy into it.
Yeah, absolutely. On the point with the interview with HubSpot, Ornella, coming back to some of the key where we see a lot of the sort of intensity around the interview process. What did you learn about just like the role itself? Let's maybe talk about the mock cold call, how you went about that, how you learnt the new skill. Was there any like aha moment for you in terms of, okay, maybe this is best practice, or I've learned something that I didn't know before here, or maybe just like
Yeah.
pro tips in terms of preparation and like executing something like that?
The cold call itself, that I learned everything because in my current role, like cold calling is just so different. There's no structure behind anything I do in my role. And I'm selling pet food and it's very simple. Like if you call and you're like, you have a pet store, do you want this or not? Kind of thing. But with the cold call for HubSpot, I learned that it is so important to have an opener with a hook, and like a permission based opener is really important. And then your hook needs to be tailored to the person you're calling, that it's personal enough that they feel interested to continue the call. And then the body or the middle is the discovery. And this is something I'm still trying to build on this muscle and learn, but like asking enough questions, asking the right questions to get them to open up, being an active listener, get them to talk more than you talk. And then, the end, which was the easy part, was just the close. But even listening to podcast 30 Minutes to President Club, they have so many mock cold calls. That was super helpful. Using AI was helpful. This program obviously is super helpful, but that was a huge learning curve for me. But that's kind of what helped me prepare for the cold call. And in terms of your question of like what I learned about the role, when I did the cold call, I got feedback. So that was really helpful of what they're looking for most, which again was the discovery part, asking more questions. And it also gave me insight of what that manager, because he does the onboarding and the ramping to the new BDRs, it helped me understand how he works, how he coaches, how he gives feedback. And that was a good insight, which I really liked.
Yeah, awesome. You can get a bit of a gauge too, hey, in terms of who you're going to be working with, the people and culture
Yeah.
element, in terms of choosing the best opportunity, and where you got to in the end too. You had some later stage opportunities concurrently getting towards final stages too. And it was like, I don't know that there was sort of jokes in the last couple of weeks for you, which is like, I never want to do this interviewing thing again. I'm getting a
Oh,
role next week.
I don't. I was like, this better be it.
Yeah,
I
it's super cool.
I think it was because I was doing 4 different companies a week, and that is like the
Yeah.
absolute max. I think I even told myself that I need to drop one and only have 3 a week because it was just too much.
Yeah, you were definitely interview maxing on
Yeah,
Ella towards the end.
it was.
You really were. Relentless. Yeah. And for those that might be listening to, we've got like the wins and progress in the community space. And you literally posted on the Friday weekly recap of like, here are all my reflections, which was like, I was like looking forward to them every week. Hopefully they keep coming actually. And it was just like literally plain language, black and white. It's like, this time next week, I'm going to have an announcement that I've got a role. And just
Yeah,
like manifested the reality, and here we are.
yeah, I know. 1 week later, I got it.
So good. So good. Divine timing. Are you excited, Ornella? How are you feeling about the new future?
I'm super excited. I'm just so excited about the company. Like, this was my number one. It checked off every single box possible. And I was talking to my partner Gabe about it 2 days ago, and we were like, I wouldn't have landed HubSpot without double triple. Like, I just wouldn't have. If I did this on my own, I would have gotten
Wow.
maybe a different company, not as good, but to get like a rocket ship like HubSpot is really because I joined double triple. It's so crazy. Take all of my
Yeah.
money.
That's amazing. It's cool to hear. I was going to ask you, like, to round. Why do you, what makes you say that? Like, why is that the case? Do you think?
Learning about the industry at the start was super helpful. Um, the courses with, the interview playbook was super helpful. And
Mm.
just being able to message you and Kayla for support throughout, and all of our chats and all of the coaching calls, the mentorship calls every time you have a question. Like, we meet up 4 times a week now, 6 or 7, but
Yeah.
just be able to like have those office hours throughout the week. So at any stage that you're out at, to be able to ask a question and have mentorship or other people in the community who are maybe ahead and have done what you're asking about, give you guidance, is just so helpful. Looking back, like having to do what I did without any support would have been so difficult. And I'm really lucky that my boyfriend is in the industry. So he is super helpful, was super helpful. But one thing I think about is other people in the community who don't have my boyfriend Gabe. What are they doing? They would have no idea. But that's where Double Triple comes in and is basically Gabe helping everybody land a role in tech sales.
Literally. Literally Gabe helping people get roles in tech sales. Look at that.
Yeah,
Incredible.
also named Gabe.
Yeah. So good, Ornella. I'm glad to hear that you felt that way too, and it was really instrumental. We had someone actually like 2 weeks ago mention a similar thing. Like, I wouldn't have even attempted to get into tech sales, I don't think. Like, just
I
it's
wouldn't have.
cool.
I
Yeah,
don't think I
yeah,
would
there you
have.
go.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think I would have. I kind of
Oh,
was
that's
just thinking
amazing.
about how can I do this, and then my partner Gabe follows Double Triple and was like, "You need to do this."
Yeah, nice. He's like, go get coached over here because I don't have the time for this.
I don't have the time. I'm trying to hit Eagle, and I don't have
Yeah,
the time
exactly. Straight
to
to
be helping
President's Club.
you. Yeah, it helped me
You
move from the vet industry into my current job, and I think I told you
nice.
that before. But like,
Yeah.
all the advice he gave me is the exact same advice you guys have. So I knew that, okay, this is true.
Yeah, cool. We're all on track for sure.
Yeah,
Though we
yeah,
did have there was one or two moments though in the coaching, like to probably mid to late stage, where we had like a bit of a slightly differing of opinion, I think, in some of the hard
yeah,
hitting questions. I remember that. Yeah.
yes,
But
yes,
it's
with
good, right?
behavioral
Different
questions.
perspectives and
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
super helpful to get
So it's good.
someone else's opinion. And the behavioral questions, like when I posted that in the community, I did it because I thought at that point, I'm like, okay, what was something from the community that if I knew earlier on, it would have been actually really helpful? And it was behavioral questions, because those were questions that I was looking up on my own and thinking, okay, this is probably what they're going to ask me. But then until I started doing the interviews, that's when I started to take note of every single question they were asking. And honestly, they started coming up in every interview. They usually ask the same variation of those questions. And I felt like it would have been helpful to help me prepare for my first interviews. So that's why I was like, I just need to send this out to maybe help somebody else.
Yeah, absolutely. Such a good contribution too. And you see the repeat pattern over a few times too, which is like amazing insight. So
Hmm.
love it, Ornella. Well, to wrap up, have you got any advice if someone's considering joining Double Triple but they might be on the fence? What would you say to them?
Don't be on the fence. Like, if you want a absolute guarantee that you will get a tech sales job, then Double Triple is the answer. I remember when I was first thinking about it, I was like, I want a 100% success rate. Like, if I get on a call with them and they tell me they have a 100% success rate, then the answer will be yes. And I remember, I think I was talking to, K, starts with a K,
In the team, yeah, Cass.
Cass. And I
Yeah,
was like, what is the success rate though? And she was able to give me it. It's basically 100%. And I was like, okay, sold, sold. I don't,
done.
I don't
Yeah,
care how much it is. I have to look at it as this is an investment. If they can guarantee me that they can get me a job that's going to add another 20K to my salary, then that investment is good. I'm investing in myself. And just having Double Triple on your LinkedIn and on your resume is super helpful. because companies look at that and go, she's invested in herself. This is serious. This isn't just like, oh, I want to go into tech sales and see how it is. She's made the investment in herself. She's taking this seriously. And some companies even have to pay for you to get coaching and learn. So if they can see that you're already doing that for yourself, it's super favorable, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. We see that actually in the market. There's a lot of feedback, and a lot of people really openly lead with it or speak about it, or it's actually picked up and
Mhm.
noticed, and companies really value it a lot because it shows you're
Definitely.
serious, you're learning skills, you're being
Yep.
mentored. Like,
Even
goes a
at
long way.
HubSpot, because they hired someone from Double Triple a month before me, by the time they got to me and Willem, who also was doing the stages at HubSpot, they've heard of Double Triple and they were asking about it, but they didn't ask too much about it because the person before us told them all about it. So it looks good to them that they're hiring someone from Double Triple. Oh, this company, has really good people. They'll pick up on that and the process is just faster.
So good. The tech companies are seeing double, triple talent, and they're like, send them an offer.
Yep.
And even better that we have the unofficial mascot now formally at Double Triple in Momo.
Exactly.
So
With
that's
Momo.
one of the greatest wins ever.
With Momo. The other thing that is
So
super
good.
helpful as well is like having the community and making all of these connections. Like other people can refer you or help you with your process of interviewing. Like now that I've interviewed at other companies, if somebody else is interviewing at that company, I can tell them exactly what to expect, what that process is, who the recruiter is, who the sales manager is. And that's just really insightful for you if you're trying to look for a job.
Yeah, goes a long way. Hey, like, super
Yeah.
cool. Love it, Ornella. Well, thanks so much for joining us on the Double Triple rocket ship. We're really excited for you and in this new career and in this new life. And congratulations again on getting such a great dream outcome in an amazing company and an amazing role. So appreciate you
Thank
jumping on with me, Ornella.
you. No,
So
like actually,
good.
thank you for helping me get this job.
My pleasure. That's what we're here for. Now
Love
time
it.
to crush it.
Now time to crush it.
That's it. Awesome. Thanks so much, Ornella. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.